Y'all, I've gotten a lot of questions in the past on how to install a skimmer on a soft-sided Intex pool. Well, today I'm going to be doing just that. I have here a new skimmer from Hayward, and I'm going to be cutting a hole in this pool and installing this skimmer. Y'all stick around and I'll show you all about it. One of the first considerations you want to make about where to put your skimmer is your prevailing winds for your area. I live in South Louisiana, and most of the time our wind is coming from the Gulf of Mexico during the summer, so it's coming from the south. So I want to put my skimmer on the north side of the pool so it can be as efficient as possible. And you also don't want to put it right on top of your discharge to your pool. You want to allow for some circulation. You want to separate the skimmer and your discharge. There are some things you're going to need. You're going to need a vacuum hose. This is one that I bought from Amazon. In fact, I'll have the link below to all of this stuff that I've used here. But this is a vacuum hose from Amazon. I've used them in the past. They work really well. Now, I've got the Hayward Skimmer itself, and I did buy the wide mouth. So it's going to have a nice wide mouth to really open up the surface area and get some... hopefully get all the bugs off of the top of this pool. Now, this is a straight connector that's going to fit onto the pump that will allow the hose to clamp onto it. So you're going to need this, and I believe your pump should have come with it, but if you don't have it, Amazon does carry them. Now, what I use to plug the inlet holes for the old intake is these little black inserts, and they come with your pool as well. If you don't have them, you can probably make something out of PVC just to put inside those holes with a cap and put a clamp on just to stop the water from going through. So basically what we're going to do, we have to screw the wide mouth onto the skimmer, and we'll go ahead and do that first. This does come with a gasket. You're going to want to go ahead and insert that gasket into the wide mouth part. We can set it down and line up some holes and get to screwing it. Now, as you're doing this, you don't want to tighten these screws all the way down until you get them all started. And then you can go ahead and tighten them all the way down. Now, you will notice that you have a few round top screws and quite a few of your countersunk screws. The round top is what's going to connect the two pieces together. You're going to want your countersunk on the inside frame of your pool so you don't have any harsh edges. Now, these are going to be a bit of a challenge to get in here, but it ain't that bad. You can do it. Now, after you got all of them started, go ahead and tighten them all up because you don't want any leak between these two pieces. The screws are quite tight in that plastic. You could probably use an electric screwdriver, a drill, or a little impact, little 1/4-inch impact to do this part. But you're going to need an old-fashioned screwdriver to do the inside because we're going to be inside of this pool doing this here in a minute under the water. After you have the wide mouth connected to the regular skimmer, now listen, if you don't have the wide mouth, it's still going to be the same process of putting the smaller skimmer onto your pool. It's going to be the same exact thing. Now, your Hayward skimmer comes with this little straight piece. This is what we're going to connect our hose to, and we're going to have to use hose clamps. Put some Teflon tape on here, and this is going to screw right into the bottom of your skimmer. Now, you don't have to get crazy tight with this. In fact, I'm not even going to put any tools on it. I'm just going to hand tighten it. And that should be more than sufficient. What you can do now, you can do it now or you can wait. It's totally up to you. I'm just going to get this thing as ready to go as I can. We're going to go ahead and put the hose onto it. Make sure you've got your hose clamp over it. Now, these connectors are removable. You want to make sure they're tight on there so you don't get any air leaks. Now, this is probably going to be a tight fit. And if you're having issues with it, get a hair dryer or a heat gun or something and heat it up. Because I have split them in the past trying to do this. I think we'll be able to make that work, though. Let's go ahead and get this as loose as it can be, this hose clamp. You want to be pretty slow with it. It is quite tight, which is good, though. We're not going to get any leaks from it. And once you got it on there far enough for this hose clamp to grab, tighten up your hose clamp. Now, we'll wait and do the other side here in a minute after we get everything installed. All right, the hose is attached. One of the most important parts of this project will be this gasket. This is the gasket that's going to go between the face of the skimmer and the frame inside the pool. Now, this gasket, if you look real close, is made in a V and is connected down the center. This is made to put inside an existing hole in a swimming pool, which would be really good for a hardliner pool. Now, this is a soft liner pool, and you don't want to cut a hole in this thing until it's full of water. That way, everything is stretched out already. So what we're going to have to do is separate this gasket into two pieces. So we can put one piece on the face and then one piece on here and screw it together. And then it'll be around the frame of the pool. So either take a good razor knife or a pocket knife, either way. And what you're going to want to do, we're going to want to cut and separate these two pieces. Cut right down that groove. Take it nice and easy. Make sure that knife stays in the middle. All right, now our gasket is in two pieces, and what we're gonna do is we'll be able to get in the pool with this side, and I'm gonna have my lovely assistant on the outside with the other side of the gasket. All right, let's go ahead and talk about placement of this thing. Like I said before, you wanna make sure you're on the upwind side of your prevailing winds, because that's where all your debris is gonna go. And I've learned that from experience. I've learned it the hard way. So we're gonna take this to the pool. Now, if you don't have the wide mouth, it's really easy to fit because this piece is really small, but having the wide mouth, you just want to go ahead and confirm that you're going to be able to fit between the supporting poles of your pool, which it doesn't look like this is going to be a problem at all. So that's good. Now, after that, what we want to do is prep the outside of the pool. So I've already closed off my filter, because we're going to have to open this up. We're going to make a little bit of a mess. We're going to lose some water. But let's get it started. It's going to be the least messiest way to do this. What's the matter, Peanut? We're not showing you no attention. So we're going to get a little wet. Or I'm going to get a little wet. We're going to pull out the intake, insert the plug. And so you will lose a little water doing this. This is going to be right on top of my pump, but it does sit outside in the rain anyway. All right. Got the messiest part out of the way. Save your hose clamps. You're going to need them for your hose. Next, what you want to do is go ahead and take the other end of your hose and the straight connection and push it on, tighten up a hose clamp. This side fits much better. No need to worry about cracking this side. And the skimmer side fits well too. Just take your time doing it. Now what you want to do is just run your hose between your pool and the supports. Now we're just going to take off our other hose, put this one on. We'll lose a little water here, but nothing serious. Make sure you have your O-ring. Make sure you don't lose your O-ring. Now the hose takes up a little bit more room than the Intex one, so you'll probably have to reconfigure your pump just to make it look neat. And I'll do that. You don't want to crip it off too bad. You can see it sticking out a little further than the old one. We can get rid of this contraption. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get in the pool with this. We're going to line up this gasket. And basically, we're going to take something sharp. In fact, I've got a skewer here. We're going to start on one corner and bust a hole in our pool. Then we'll have to shove a screw through that hole, and we can start screwing the thing together. We know that our skimmer is going to fit on the outside, so we want to line that up on the inside. You want to make sure you've got your gasket, one piece on the inside, and Kara's got the one on the outside. So what we're going to do is you want to come high enough. You don't have to hold it just yet up here. You want to come, well, you want to make sure you got it centered up. Oh, this pool is slippery. You want to make sure you're between your two posts. And this pool's about as deep as I'm going to get. So you want to make sure you're above your water line when you do this. You only got one shot to do it. So I'm going to take my skimmer and I'm going to place one hole in this pool. All right, these pools are tough. It's going to take some pushing. Now what I've got here is I've got a Phillips screwdriver on a T-handle so I can push that screw into there. So you're going to take a screw, get it started, make sure you're near the hole you were in. All right, we got that first one in. And these pools are really tough. It's not gonna be super easy to push these screws through here. Now that we got one screw in, we'll let her line that up on the outside. You want to make sure that gasket's in there. Just keep making holes and screw them. Start with your corners and then cross them up almost like you would a tire. Now, when you get to the regular part of your liner, it should be quite a bit easier. That top part is really thick. And it is. Now you're going to get a little water leakage. Shouldn't be much though. You're just going to have to make sure that the gasket's lined up in there. It's in there. Oh, yeah, it's in there. Now, if it's not quite level, it's not the biggest deal in the world. It is really hard to get the screw holes in here, so I'll forgive you. Just make sure the whole time that you've got your gasket in place. That's vitally important. Now I've got my top 3 screws in, my bottom 3 screws in. This will go really easy. And you can see it's not super scary because you don't cut the hole first. We're going to do that after we make sure this thing's sealed up. So I'll go ahead now and just put the rest of them in. She's going to give me a better tool. Oh, yeah. You've been holding out on me? Watching me fight with that thing?
Purposefully.
I could kill you. I could murder you.
Video.
I could murder her right now. I've been using this flimsy piece of crap, and she says, "Oh, I got an awl. Would you like that? This thing will punch a hole in leather." Oh, my old carpet tunnels. That's a workout on your hands right there. Now you'll see, and I know y'all gonna tell me anyway, that this thing is not perfectly level. And you would be right in saying that. When you're right on top of something, it's hard to see how level it is. So I guess we could have used another hand to help me level it up from inside. But it's going to be just fine. It's above the water line, and that's what's important. That's the most important thing. Getting above the water line, but you don't want it so high that if you lose any water, you lose suction. You want to get it right there in that sweet spot, and I think this will be perfect. Now, this putting holes in this top piece, getting screws in there, it's tough. It's a workout on the old hands, but just stay slow and steady at it. You'll get it done. What's the matter, Peanut? All right, baby, you can walk away. I will. Now I've got them all in here. All the holes are started. You do want to make sure you got this thing good and tight, in because this is where it's going to leak. This is it. You got a big hole in your pool. Get them good and tight. Now, obviously, you don't want to over tighten anything. You don't want to crack any plastic, but you want them good and tight. Now, the part that everybody's worried about, cutting a big hole inside their pool, is going to be super easy at this point, and I think you can obviously see why. Now we've got a big guide to ride our knife along. We've got a frame in the front, and we've got a skimmer in the back. We can't mess up now. Well, I guess we could. We had to be doing some silly stuff with a knife in there. All right, I've got everything tight. Now let's cut a hole in this pool. So like I said, your frame's here. You got your skimmer on the back. It's all hard plastic. You really can't mess up. So here's the scary part, guys. Here it is. Knife's in the pool. There he goes. Now, obviously, you still want to be careful with a knife in your pool for obvious reasons. Now we can put the skimmer in, the basket. Now there is a cover that's going to go in here. It's just going to snap it to the bottom real easy. And it's in. And now we've got our, oh, I'm backing out of frame. So we've got our wide mouth skimmer installed. It is love bug season here in South Louisiana, and you're going to see this thing is indeed working. We are taking in love bugs right now as we speak. We've got a good flow coming in. And we're just going to walk around now and check for leaks. It is definitely doing what it's supposed to be doing. You want to check all your connections, make sure you don't have any major leaks. Check them here and then check them by the pool. And I'm going to be on my way out of this thing. Oh, yeah, it's working. Sucking them bugs up. Love it. It's going to work. What we're gonna do, take a look around the pool, Kara. This pool is literally full of bugs. I'm gonna come back in an hour and we'll see what kind of good the skimmer did. But I'll be willing to bet 80 to 90% of these bugs will be gone here within maybe just the first hour. As you can see, The skimmer installation is not the easiest thing. These liners are really tough. You're gonna want something sharp that'll make a good hole. And obviously a drill bit would be the best thing to do, but it's hard to find a waterproof drill motor. But use something, I would suggest an ice pick or an awl like Kara did. Indeed fine, the skewer was not working. But find something with a good hefty handle and a good point. And then that T-handle screwdriver really makes life easy too. But after you have your frame, all your holes for your screws done, the scary part of it, cutting the big hole in your swimming pool, is really easy to do. It's really hard to mess up. Obviously, you want to be careful with a knife in your pool, no doubt. But I've had so many questions about how to do it, guys. I really hope you liked the video. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. And until next time, guys, I'll see y'all on Everyday Man.